In your hands, the Bible that you've known for years is missing pieces, hidden truths that were once in plain sight but have been deliberately erased. What if I told you that there's a version of the Bible, an ancient Ethiopian manuscript with 88 books, that holds divine revelations not found in the 66-book canon most of us are familiar with? This isn't just some ancient artifact locked away in the shadows of history. No, these are sacred texts, scriptures that speak to a creation story far richer, deeper, and more cosmic than the one we've been taught. Imagine being told that the universe, the angels, and even the fall of man itself are woven together in a divine drama, a cosmic rebellion that began long before Adam even walked the earth. Why were these books removed from the Bible? Why have their truths been concealed from the world? The answer isn't as simple as tradition or translation issues. The Ethiopian Bible, with its 88 books, shows us that the creation story we know isn't the full picture. There's a cosmic blueprint in place, one that involves heavenly beings, celestial realms, and divine cycles of time. This was lost, or more accurately, it was taken from us. But the truth is finally beginning to surface. Why did these truths remain hidden for so long? What exactly were we never meant to see? And what is it about these lost books, such as the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees, that hold the key to understanding not only creation, but our place in the universe? Why are these books considered dangerous to the powers that be? In this video, we'll delve into the untold story behind the Ethiopian Bible, the lost texts, and the divine wisdom that could change the way you see yourself, your faith, and the world around you. We will explore the Book of Jubilees, which doesn't just tell us about creation in a few poetic lines, but offers a cosmic, calendar-driven account of the origins of everything, complete with angelic participation and divine timing. And we'll uncover why these ancient teachings were kept away from mainstream Christianity, hidden in the heart of Africa for thousands of years. You'll come to understand why the Book of Enoch presents the universe as a living system, where angels actively direct the movements of the stars and even the laws of the heavens. What if we've been living under a false assumption that our reality is separate from the divine and cosmic order? But the truth is, everything, every action, every decision is part of a divine, living design that has been carefully planned since the beginning of time. Through this exploration, you'll also discover the hidden lessons embedded in these sacred texts. The fall of Lucifer, the rebellion of the angels, and the divine response that ultimately brought salvation to a world that had fallen into chaos. These lessons go far beyond the traditional interpretation of sin. They show us the divine struggle between light and darkness, order and chaos, and our role in this eternal fight. So join me as we uncover the forgotten truths of creation, the hidden divine cycles, and how they reveal a deeper understanding of our purpose. If this resonates with you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about how these long-hidden truths impact us today, how they can guide us through the darkness we face in this world, and why it's time for the light to shine again. If this video has ignited something in your soul, consider supporting this journey by liking, subscribing, and staying tuned for more profound revelations from the hidden corners of the Bible. The time has come for these truths to be revealed to the world, and I am honored to share them with you. The Ethiopian Bible, a sacred text long protected in the heart of Africa, holds the key to unlocking the full story of creation, one that goes far beyond the familiar narrative we've known. Unlike the Western Bible, which contains 66 books, the Ethiopian Bible contains 88. These additional texts, such as the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees, hold divine revelations that were lost to history. They explain not only the creation of the earth, but the very foundation of the universe, the celestial order, and the spiritual realm. These texts were hidden, intentionally removed from the canon, but the truth within them is as powerful today as it was in ancient times. The question is, why was this knowledge kept from us? Why were these books, brimming with wisdom, concealed for so long? And what does this mean for us now, as we seek to understand our place in the grand cosmic design? The Book of Jubilees, for example, offers a radically different perspective on the creation story than the one we find in Genesis. It doesn't simply recount the creation of the world in 6 days, but presents a divine calendar that breaks time into sacred cycles. These cycles were governed not just by the passage of the sun and moon, but by angels who actively participated in creation, who directed the movements of the stars and the seasons. Imagine a universe where time is not a random progression, but a carefully orchestrated symphony, each note played by celestial beings who carry out the divine will. This is the vision of creation that the Ethiopian Bible presents, a world where every action, every season, every moment is part of a larger, divinely orchestrated plan. What if our understanding of time, of the world, and of our own lives is too limited? What if everything we do, every choice we make, is part of a divine cycle that stretches across the cosmos? The teachings of the Ethiopian Bible reveal that we are not isolated beings moving through a random world. We are part of a divine design that is connected to the heavens, to the angels, and to the Creator. And this realization, this awakening, can change the way we live our lives, the way we approach the world, and the way we understand our relationship with God. It invites us to move beyond a narrow transactional view of the world and into a much deeper understanding of our role in creation. The Book of Enoch, another vital text in the Ethiopian Bible, speaks of the rebellion in the heavens, how Lucifer and a third of the angels fell from grace, and how this cosmic war between light and darkness has affected the world ever since. This rebellion wasn't just a spiritual event, it was a cosmic event that has reverberated throughout time. The fallen angels, who once watched over humanity and creation, corrupted it instead. They taught forbidden knowledge, secrets of the heavens that led humanity away from God's intended path. They taught humans the arts of warfare, the crafting of weapons, the use of enchantments and magic. And with this knowledge, humanity fell into sin, and the earth itself was stained by the corruption of these fallen beings. This is the backdrop to the fall of man in the Garden of Eden, where the serpent, a symbol of the rebellion in the heavens, led Eve to partake in the forbidden fruit. But this story isn't just about the rebellion of angels and the fall of man. It is also about redemption, about how God, in his infinite love and wisdom, set in motion a plan to restore what was lost. In the midst of the rebellion, God had already foreseen a way to redeem creation. The promise of a Savior, the seed of the woman, would crush the serpent's head, and through this Savior, the light would be restored. The Ethiopian Bible teaches that the fall of man, the rebellion of the angels, and the coming of the Savior are all part of a much larger divine narrative, a cosmic drama that spans the heavens and the earth. It reminds us that we are not alone in this struggle, and that the Creator has always had a plan for our redemption. This understanding of the cosmic struggle between light and darkness, and our role within it, has profound implications for how we live our lives today. We are not just passive spectators of a world in turmoil. We are active participants in a divine story that is still unfolding. Our choices, our actions, and our faith matter. Just as the angels were entrusted with the care of creation, we are entrusted with the stewardship of the earth and the spiritual well-being of ourselves and others. The Ethiopian Bible calls us to remember our true purpose, to live in harmony with the divine cycles of creation, to protect and care for the earth, and to seek redemption through the Savior who was promised from the beginning. This leads us to an even deeper realization. The earth is not a cold, lifeless object. It is a living, breathing part of the Creator's divine plan. The mountains, the rivers, the trees, and the animals are not just creations to be exploited. They are sacred, and they play a vital role in the divine order. In the Ethiopian Bible, we see creation not as something separate from us, but as a reflection of the Creator's love. The earth itself is alive, and it is waiting for redemption, just as we are. The promise of restoration extends beyond humanity. It extends to all of creation. The earth, which was once pure and in harmony with the divine will, has been stained by sin and rebellion, but it is not beyond hope. Through our actions, through our faith, and through our relationship with God, we can participate in the restoration of the earth and the fulfillment of the Creator's divine plan. In the midst of the darkness and chaos in the world today, the Ethiopian Bible offers a message of hope. The cosmic battle between light and darkness is not over. It is still unfolding, and we are called to participate in the victory of light. Just as the angels were part of the divine design of creation, we too are called to play a part in this grand story. We are not helpless victims of fate. We are active participants in the restoration of God's kingdom on earth. The Ethiopian Bible teaches us that our actions matter, that we have a responsibility to care for the earth, to live in harmony with God's will, and to bring the light of redemption into the world. As we reflect on these truths, let us remember that we are not alone. We are part of a larger, divine narrative, a story that spans the heavens and the earth, a story that connects us to the Creator and to all of creation. And as we walk this path, we can take comfort in knowing that the Creator has a plan for us, a plan to restore what was lost and to bring us back into harmony with Him. Through the teachings of the Ethiopian Bible, we are reminded of our sacred calling to be stewards of creation, to live in alignment with the divine order, and to walk in the light of the Savior. And so, as we close this chapter of discovery, I encourage you to reflect on your own role in this cosmic story. How are you participating in the divine drama? Are you living in harmony with the earth, with each other, and with God? What steps can you take to restore the divine order in your own life and in the world around you? The Ethiopian Bible calls us to remember our purpose, to live in the light, to care for the earth, and to seek redemption through the Savior who was promised from the beginning. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue to explore these sacred truths together, and let's work to bring the light of redemption into the world. Your presence here is a part of the divine plan, and I am honored to walk this path with you. Thank you for being part of this journey. Let's continue to seek the light, to live in harmony with creation, and to fulfill our sacred purpose. Before creation unfolded into the tangible world we see, there was a war that began in the heavens, a battle between light and darkness, between divine purpose and rebellion. This was not just a celestial event, but the beginning of a cosmic conflict that continues to reverberate through the earth and throughout time. The rebellion of Lucifer, once the bearer of light, left a stain upon the universe that would affect not only the spiritual realm, but also the physical world we inhabit. As we delve into the wisdom found within the Ethiopian Bible, we uncover the truth about this great battle, a battle that shaped everything, creation itself, the angels, and humanity's place in it. In the book of Enoch, we learn that Lucifer's fall wasn't just an isolated act of defiance, but the start of something far larger. Lucifer's pride, his refusal to stay within the divine order, was the spark that ignited an eternal war, and 1/3 of the angels followed him, cast into rebellion. Their fall was not without consequence. It set into motion a series of events that would lead to humanity's fall as well. The serpent in the Garden of Eden, representing the ancient rebellion, did not simply tempt Adam and Eve. It was a manifestation of a much older, cosmic disobedience that had already altered the fabric of creation. The Ethiopian Bible takes us beyond the simple narrative of man's disobedience in the garden. It ties the fall of humanity to the heavenly war, a battle that began before time itself and whose repercussions would stretch through all generations. In the Genesis account, we are told that Adam and Eve were created to be stewards of the earth, to live in harmony with God. But this harmony was shattered the moment they gave in to the serpent's temptation. However, the Ethiopian Bible invites us to understand that this fall was not an isolated incident. It was the continuation of a cosmic struggle that had already begun in the heavens. The fall of man was, in a sense, inevitable, as humanity was drawn into a war that was already raging. The rebellion that began with Lucifer now became a struggle that humanity would face daily, between light and darkness, between truth and deception, between the divine will and the desire for autonomy. But even in the midst of this cosmic struggle, the Ethiopian Bible brings a message of hope. It reminds us that the Creator had always planned a way to restore what was lost. Even before Adam and Eve's fall, God had already set in motion the redemption of the world. The story of salvation, which was foretold from the beginning, would come through a Savior, the seed of the woman, who would crush the serpent's head. The Ethiopian Bible speaks to us of a promise that, despite the rebellion, despite the fall, the light would ultimately triumph. This cosmic battle is not confined to ancient stories. It continues to unfold in our lives today. We face the same struggle that began in the heavens. Each of us is caught in the ongoing conflict between light and darkness, truth and deception. Just as the angels once chose sides, we too must choose. Will we align ourselves with the divine plan, or will we give in to the rebellion that continues to seduce our hearts? In our daily lives, we see this struggle manifest in the choices we make, the paths we choose to walk, and the way we treat others and the earth itself. The lessons of the Ethiopian Bible remind us that we are not passive participants in this cosmic drama. We are active agents in the story. We have the power to choose light over darkness, truth over deception, and harmony with the Creator over chaos. The fall of humanity, however, is not the end of the story. The Ethiopian Bible invites us to look beyond our own mistakes, beyond our own fallenness, to the promise of restoration. Just as the rebellion of the angels did not end the Creator's plan, so too the fall of humanity did not end God's divine purpose. The Creator, in his love and wisdom, had already set in motion the plan of redemption, and through the Savior, we are offered the chance to restore the divine order, not just in our hearts, but in the world around us. When we embrace this restoration, we are not only healing ourselves, we are healing the world. The earth itself, which has been scarred by the rebellion of the angels, longs for redemption. In the Ethiopian Bible, we see that creation itself is waiting for the return of divine order. The mountains, the rivers, the stars, they all groan under the weight of sin, but they also anticipate the restoration that is promised. Just as we are called to heal our own hearts, we are called to heal the earth. We are stewards of creation, and as we align ourselves with the Creator's plan, we begin to restore the harmony between heaven and earth. As we reflect on these truths, we begin to understand the profound responsibility we bear as human beings. We are not just passive spectators of creation, we are participants in its restoration. This is not just a call to salvation for ourselves, it is a call to salvation for the world. When we seek the light, when we choose truth over lies, when we live in harmony with the divine will, we are part of a greater restoration that is unfolding in the heavens and on earth. The Ethiopian Bible teaches us that we are not alone in this struggle. Just as the angels once watched over the earth, so too the Creator watches over us, guiding us toward redemption. The story of creation, the fall and redemption, is not just a story of the past. It is a living story, unfolding in our lives every day. We are not just participants in this cosmic drama, we are the protagonists. The battle between light and darkness is not just something that happened long ago. It is happening now, in our hearts, in our world, and in the very fabric of creation. The Ethiopian Bible invites us to step into this story, to embrace the divine plan, and to become agents of restoration in the world. As we move forward, let us take the lessons of the Ethiopian Bible to heart. Let us remember that we are part of a much larger cosmic narrative, a story that spans the heavens and the earth, a story that connects us to the Creator and to all of creation. And let us live in such a way that we participate in the restoration of the divine order, bringing healing not just to our own hearts, but to the world around us. This is the divine calling, the sacred purpose that we are meant to fulfill. 5. The promise of redemption. How the fall is not the end. The fall of humanity may have seemed like the end, but it was only the beginning of a greater story, a story of redemption, restoration, and divine victory. The Ethiopian Bible reveals to us that the fall was not an isolated event, but a part of a much larger narrative. While Genesis tells us that humanity fell due to sin, the Ethiopian Bible shows us that this fall was part of the cosmic struggle that began long before humanity existed. The rebellion of Lucifer and the angels was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of the divine plan of redemption that would ultimately bring healing to all of creation. When Adam and Eve fell in the Garden of Eden, they did not fall alone. The rebellion of humanity was intertwined with the rebellion of the angels, and the cosmic struggle between light and darkness continued to play out on earth. But the story does not end with the fall. Instead, the fall is the precursor to a much greater plan, a plan for restoration. In the midst of the rebellion, God had already set in motion the promise of redemption. The seed of the woman, the Savior who would come to crush the serpent's head, was already promised, and this promise would unfold over thousands of years. The Ethiopian Bible teaches us that even in the midst of sin and darkness, there is always a divine plan for restoration, and this plan is one that includes us all. The promise of redemption is not just for humanity, it is for all of creation. The Ethiopian Bible shows us that creation itself, which has been marred by sin and rebellion, is waiting for its redemption. The earth, the trees, the mountains, the rivers, they all groan, waiting for the return of divine order. And it is through our participation in this divine plan, through our faith and our actions, that the restoration of creation can begin. As we move forward, let us remember that the fall is not the end. It is part of the greater narrative of redemption. The Ethiopian Bible calls us to embrace the light, to seek the truth, and to participate in the restoration of the earth. Through our actions, our choices, and our faith, we can help bring about the redemption that God has promised. We are not passive observers in this story. We are active participants called to restore the divine order and bring healing to the world. Let us embrace this divine calling and walk in the light of redemption. As we continue our journey through the sacred and ancient texts of the Ethiopian Bible, we are drawn deeper into the realization that the relationship between humanity and the earth was never meant to be a casual or transactional one. Instead, it was always designed to be a divine, sacred partnership. The Creator's intention for us was never to dominate, but to steward, care for, and honor His creation. The Ethiopian Bible sheds light on this divine relationship by showing us the earth's role in God's eternal plan. Far beyond just a place for human habitation, it is part of a cosmic system intertwined with the spiritual realms, where every mountain, every river, every tree, and every living being is significant in God's plan for redemption. In the book of Jubilees, we see the earth as a living entity that was intricately connected to the divine order. The mountains were not just raised by geological forces, but by the divine will of the Creator, a sacred act that gave them life and purpose. The rivers were not merely channels of water, but symbols of divine power and grace, carrying the sacred waters that nourish all of creation. The stars themselves are not random, floating objects in the sky, but signs and symbols inscribed with divine messages, guiding humanity through God's cosmic calendar. The entire natural world is, in fact, alive, as the Ethiopian Bible reveals. Creation was never intended to be separate from the Creator, and neither should we ever see ourselves as separate from the earth. We are part of this sacred circle, called to be stewards of this divine gift, with a responsibility to care for and protect it. What does this mean for us today? It means that our relationship with the earth should reflect our relationship with the Creator, one of love, care, and responsibility. The earth was created for a divine purpose, and when we harm it, we are not just damaging the planet, we are disrupting the divine order that was established from the beginning. But when we live in harmony with the earth, we align ourselves with God's original design for creation. The earth, as the Ethiopian Bible teaches us, is not a resource to be exploited, but a living, breathing being to be cherished. This understanding is a call to action, a reminder that our actions on this earth matter. They have eternal significance, as they are part of God's greater plan. But this relationship between humanity, the earth, and the Creator was disrupted with the fall. In the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve sinned, it wasn't just a fall into sin, it was a disruption of the divine harmony that existed between heaven and earth. The rebellion of humanity in the garden mirrored the rebellion of Lucifer in the heavens, and as a result, creation itself was affected. The earth, which was once in perfect harmony with the divine will, was now tainted by sin, and the relationship between humanity and the earth was broken. However, as we look at the promises within the Ethiopian Bible, we see that this broken relationship is not the end of the story. The Ethiopian Bible doesn't just leave us in despair over the fall of humanity. Instead, it reminds us that God has always had a plan to restore creation to its original state. The coming of the Savior, the seed of the woman, was not just a promise of salvation for humanity. It was a promise of restoration for the earth itself. In the Ethiopian Bible, the restoration of humanity is intrinsically linked to the restoration of the earth. The earth, like humanity, longs for redemption. Creation groans, waiting for the return of divine order. And it is through our faith and our actions that we can begin to bring that restoration to life. This is the message of hope that the Ethiopian Bible offers us. The fall may have broken the divine harmony, but it did not destroy God's plan for creation. Through Christ, the light that was lost is being restored. The Ethiopian Bible reveals that the entire creation story, from the rebellion in the heavens to the fall of man, is part of a larger divine narrative, a narrative that is still unfolding. Through Christ, the earth itself is being restored. Through our actions, we are called to partner with God in bringing this restoration into being. The story of creation is not over. It is still being written, and we are active participants in that story. Just as the book of Enoch reveals the rebellion of the angels, it also reveals the great cosmic victory over darkness. Lucifer's fall did not diminish God's power or thwart his plan. Instead, it set into motion the story of redemption, the coming of the Savior, and the ultimate victory of light over darkness. This cosmic victory is mirrored in our own lives. Though we too may fall, God's plan of redemption is always at work, and through faith we can align ourselves with that victory. It is a victory that is not just for humanity, but for the earth itself. Through Christ, creation is being restored, and it is our role to participate in that restoration. This is the divine calling, the invitation to join God in his work of redemption, not just for ourselves, but for the earth and all of creation. In the Ethiopian Bible, we also see the profound role that angels play in creation. The angels are not just messengers, they are active participants in the divine order, overseeing creation and ensuring that God's plan is carried out. They guide the seasons, direct the stars, and even oversee the actions of humanity. The angels are deeply connected to the earth, and through their work, they help bring about God's will on earth. This understanding of the role of angels challenges the way we often see the spiritual realm. Angels are not distant, uninvolved beings. They are actively working with us and for us, guiding us toward redemption and helping us restore the divine order on earth. As we reflect on the profound wisdom contained in the Ethiopian Bible, we are reminded that the story of creation is far bigger than we often realize. It is not just a story of humanity. It is a story of the entire universe, of divine purpose, and of cosmic restoration. The earth, the angels, humanity, and the Creator are all interconnected, and we are all called to be part of this divine plan. The Ethiopian Bible teaches us that our actions on earth matter. They are part of the divine design, part of the cosmic struggle between light and darkness, and part of the restoration that God is bringing about in the world. So, what does this mean for us as we walk through our daily lives? It means that we must live with purpose and intention, understanding that every choice we make, every action we take, has eternal significance. We are not just living for ourselves, we are living for a greater purpose, for the restoration of creation, for the fulfillment of God's divine plan. The Ethiopian Bible calls us to remember our sacred calling, to live in harmony with the earth, to care for creation, and to restore the divine order that was disrupted in the garden. We are called to be stewards of creation, to walk in the light of redemption, and to be active participants in the restoration of the world. The Ethiopian Bible invites us to see the world through a new lens, not as a place of chaos and randomness, but as a place of divine purpose and order. It calls us to recognize that the earth is alive, that it is sacred, and that it is part of God's eternal plan. It reminds us that we are not separate from creation, we are intricately connected to it, and through our faith and actions, we can help bring about its restoration. This is the message of hope, of divine redemption, and of cosmic restoration that the Ethiopian Bible offers to us. As we step into this new understanding of creation, let us embrace our role in this divine story. Let us walk in the light of redemption, care for the earth, and be active participants in the restoration of creation. Through our faith and our actions, we can bring healing to the world, fulfill our sacred purpose, and be part of the divine restoration that is unfolding before us. The story of creation is not over. It is still being written, and we are all called to play our part in it. As we close our exploration of the Ethiopian Bible and the profound truths hidden within its sacred texts, we are left with a deep sense of awe and understanding. The journey we've taken together has revealed a divine plan far more intricate and profound than we have been led to believe. The Ethiopian Bible, with its 88 books, offers us a glimpse into a cosmic narrative, a story that connects the heavens and the earth, angels and humanity, light and darkness. It reminds us that we are not isolated beings living in a random world. We are part of a divine living plan that spans the universe. This knowledge, though ancient, is as relevant today as it was when the first words of these texts were written. Through the book of Enoch, we have seen the rebellion of Lucifer and the angels who chose pride over divine order. Through the book of Jubilees, we have discovered that creation itself is not a random event, but a divinely orchestrated series of cycles, each one overseen by angels. These cycles are not just physical, they are spiritual, marking the divine rhythm that governs the universe. Time, as the Ethiopian Bible reveals, is not a linear progression, but a living force, marked by divine intention and cosmic significance. The story of creation, of the fall of humanity, and of redemption is a narrative that is still unfolding. It is a living story that we are all part of. The Ethiopian Bible also reminds us of our sacred role in this grand design. We are not passive spectators of creation. We are active participants in the divine drama. Just as the angels were entrusted with the care of creation, so too are we entrusted with the stewardship of the earth. Our choices, our actions, and our faith have eternal significance. The earth, which has been scarred by sin and rebellion, is waiting for its redemption. And it is through our faith and actions that we can help restore the divine order, not just in our own lives, but in the world around us. We've also learned that the fall of humanity in the Garden of Eden was not an isolated event. It was part of a much larger cosmic battle between light and darkness, between the divine will and the rebellion that began in the heavens. But the fall is not the end of the story. The Ethiopian Bible offers us a message of hope and redemption. It tells us that God's plan for the restoration of the world has never wavered. The coming of Christ was not just a promise of salvation for humanity, it was a promise of restoration for the entire cosmos. Through Christ, the light is returning, and through our faith, we can participate in the restoration of the divine order. In our world today, where chaos and confusion often reign, the teachings of the Ethiopian Bible offer us a path to peace, healing, and understanding. It invites us to remember our true purpose, to walk in the light of truth, and to care for the earth as sacred stewards. We are called to align ourselves with the divine rhythm of creation, to live in harmony with the earth, and to be agents of restoration in a broken world. The Ethiopian Bible shows us that we are not alone in this struggle. Just as the angels are actively working in the heavenly realms, so too is the Creator working with us, guiding us toward redemption and healing. If this video has touched your heart, if it has helped you find light in the midst of darkness, if it has sparked a deeper understanding of the world around you, then I invite you to share this journey with others. Like, comment, and subscribe if you feel moved by the message we've shared today. Every comment, every like, every share brings this light to more people, and together we can spread the healing and hope that the Ethiopian Bible offers. If you feel that this message has brought value to your soul or helped you find clarity in the midst of life's struggles, I invite you to consider supporting this channel. Your support, no matter how small, is priceless to me and helps ensure that we can continue bringing these sacred messages to light. Through your encouragement, we can continue to share the words of truth, the light of Christ, and the divine wisdom that transcends time and space. Thank you from the depths of my heart for being here, for walking with me on this journey of discovery and restoration. Together, let us embrace the divine plan, live in harmony with the earth, and walk in the light of the Creator's truth,